What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to TRU Raider Podcast. I'm your host, TRU Raider. Now, it's Thursday. Things have been kind of moving and shifting. We got the release of the schedule for 2025. And we also have a couple other things that happened. We got a new hire. Plus, I don't want anybody to forget about Jalen Ramsey. So we're going to go ahead and move into this thing, man, because that's what we're here for, right? So I apologize like usual on TikTok. I cannot share screen. It is what it is. We're going to go ahead and go in first to the Raiders' new hire. So this is on Raiders.com. And it says Raiders name Brandon Hunt, Vice President of Player Personnel. Henderson, Nevada. Brandon Hunt has joined the Las Vegas Raiders as Vice President of the Player Personnel, the club announced Thursday. Hunt comes to Las Vegas from the Philadelphia Eagles, where he was part of the Super Bowl LIX championship team. He most recently served as the Senior Director of Scouting in 2024 after 2 seasons as the Director of Scouting 2022 and 23. Prior to his arrival in Philadelphia, Hunt spent 12 seasons from 2010 to 2021 as the pro scouting coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In that role, he was responsible for scouting opponents and evaluating pro players. From 2007 to 2009, Hunt served as a pro scout with the Houston Texans after working as an intern in the Steelers scouting department from 2005 to 2006, where he was part of the staff on Pittsburgh's Super Bowl XL championship team. Hunt worked as a graduate assistant at Indiana University of Pennsylvania in 2004, where he was a 4-year starter at guard and center from 2000 to 2003. He earned his bachelor's degree in management information systems in 2003 and a master's degree in business administration in 2006. He has participated in the NFL League of Leaders program at the Stanford Graduate School of Business in the summer of 2023 and was selected to attend the NFL Career Development Symposium for front office executives in 2014 and 18. A native to Los Angeles, California, Hunt was raised in Pittsburgh, where he attended Pine Richland High School and lettered in football and track. Hunt and his wife, Shanika, have 2 sons, Shayton and Braden. So, quick rundown on Brandon Hunt. Brandon Hunt is a personnel who is really valued over there with the Eagles, and this is quite the hire, man. This is quite the hire. Spytech is doing his due diligence. He's bringing in solid staff around him, and I'm super happy to hear it, man. I got to say that, if you look at anything that's happening in the front office of the Eagles, it's like, yes, we must replicate. They are doing the right thing. And granted, they've been kind of top of the food chain for a minute, but they've been in a position where they don't have to go out there and make those kind of reaching grabs to kind of get that player of need. It's like they're drafting at the end of the first round and they get to kind of sit back and see what talent kind of trickles down a little bit. I know that they jumped up a little bit to get Jalen Carter a couple years ago and a couple good moves like that, man. But I've been really excited about the idea of bringing in some staff from the Eagles, scouting and management office, because they have been absolutely crushing the draft over and over and over, and I'm really, really happy about that. Raider Ryan in the building. Salute, one of the model Raiders. Anthony, what's up? Yo, what's going on? Salute to my guy, Mr. TRU Raider. What's good, man? What's good? Good to see you. Billy Davis, man. What up, Raider Nation? TRU. Salute. What's good, man? Good to see you guys in the building. So, I gotta say, man, John Spytek just continues to be that guy that impresses me. He really does, right? And like a lot of people are really upset about the age of Pete Carroll, and there's not a lot of longevity in Pete Carroll, and he's only going to be here for a couple years, and this and this and that. And I'm not worried about that because Pete Carroll is serving a role, right? Pete Carroll is he's in position to, and I've talked about this before, right? But Josh McDaniels totally messed up our whole culture and it got all twisted. Patriots West bullshit, right? And then AP came in and kind of centered things back up, right? And got us headed in the other direction. And he did a good job of that, right? And he served his purpose. And now we have Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a guy that can really, really set the foundation and build a very solid culture for this Raiders team and then get us moving and have that trajectory really, really headed to where we want it to be. And over the next couple of years, we're going to win some games and we're going to be competing to get into the playoffs. And, there's going to be some nice things like that to look forward to. But then we're going to really get in this spot where John Spytek is this guy that is like, the more I hear him talk, the more moves I see him make, the more just everything about him. I think John Spytek is going to be with us for years to come. And I'm really, really hoping that I'm right in my gut feeling about what's going on with him. But really, really, man, I think that, the successor for Pete Carroll is going to be pretty clear here pretty soon, right? Tony, what do you think our record is going to be? I'm going to move on to the schedule here in a minute. Hang tight, man. Hang tight. But I think that the successor for Pete Carroll is going to become evident in the next probably 2 years. We're going to start seeing a shift towards that. And I know that there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, well, Chip Kelly is going to end up taking over for the head coaching role. And Chip Kelly has made it very, very clear that he does not want to be a head coach. He wants to be an offensive coordinator, and that's what he wants to do. And you know what, man? That's where he thrives, and that's where I want him to be. Anthony, I'm going to be out there possibly October 12th versus Tennessee for sure. November 2nd versus Jaguars, my birthday weekend, and November 30th out here in LA. That's legit, man. That's legit. I still haven't been able to kind of take a look at that, man. I got some weird stuff going on. I'm in between jobs right now. So basically, I'm having a whole month off and taking care of stuff at home. It's interesting, man. Things have gotten kind of weird for me. Greg, what's good, man? How many wins are you expecting this season? I don't expect much since it's a transition mode. Wait and see we got type of season. It's really, really hard to make those kind of predictions right now. I am going to touch on the schedule, but like I said, man, we still don't know what our 53 man roster is going to be, and so it's going to shift and change. But I'm feeling really, really optimistic right now. Let's see. Jen, if I remember correctly, you weren't really too big on the Geno signing. Has that changed at all? You know what, man? I have watched a lot of tape on Geno Smith, and while it wasn't what I wanted at the time, I think it's going to be what's best for us in the long run. Keep in mind that I don't see Geno Smith being a superstar quarterback, right? I don't really just picture him as this guy that's going to single-handedly turn around this franchise. However, I do see him as somebody that can, if this offensive system with Chip Kelly plus adding Ashton Genty to this can really put him in a place where he can succeed. And I do believe that we can really actually win some games with Geno Smith. And who knows, man? Who knows? This might just be the combination for him to have a Rich Gannon kind of resurgence in his career. I don't know. I think it's a little early to make that prediction, but he's the same age that Rich Gannon was when he got here. So we got to keep that in mind. Anthony's saying 8 to 9 wins. Man, you guys want to talk schedule, huh? All right, I'll go ahead and pull up the schedule. Hold up. Let me see. Greg, you know what? QB, I'm starting to like low key next season is Sellers from South Carolina. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to go check him out. Sellers, huh? Sellers. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the schedule. They did officially release the schedule, which is, we get to get a good look at this, man, make some plans. So right now, our 3 preseason games are the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Cardinals. We don't really need to go into that, though. I do think it's interesting that we're going up against Seattle, given the whole Pete Carroll, Geno Smith thing. I think that's kind of funny. I don't think Geno Smith will play, but maybe they give him a couple reps. I don't know, man. Jen is saying, I say 8-9 wins is definitely a possibility with Gene, more than the Cowgirls, that's for sure. I don't know, man. Their whole thing with Pickens and Lamb, I don't know how that's going to go, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into the schedule. So first on deck is the New England Patriots. This is September 7th. And I got to tell you guys, man, I really, really like the idea of us going in against the Patriots right away. There was that whole thing about, Josh McDaniels and then Tom Brady. And then we have they were trying to make us like the Patriot way out here. And people were saying we're the Las Vegas Patriots and all this crap. And I'm really, really excited to see us go out there. And week 1 against New England, Mike Vrabel's our head coach. Josh McDaniels is their offensive coordinator. And I would love to go in there and stomp the New England Patriots. Now, I don't really expect them to be very good. Mike Vrabel is probably going to turn some things around. But we've seen what happens with the play calling of Josh McDaniels. That dude, I don't see him being in a position where he's going to get Drake May just all of a sudden balling out and they're just going to come and smash us. So it really gives us a good opportunity to not go in against a super, super, super hard opponent. Week 1, we get to see what we really have, and then we'll kind of make some, adjustments on our expectations from there, man. Because, see, if we end up going in there and we look the same way that we looked last year in week 1, it was very clear in week 1 that all the hype and expectations that we had for this team were just, it wasn't there, man. It was not there. So I believe we go in there and we win against the Patriots in week 1. Now, week 2, September 15th, versus the LA Chargers. Now, this one's a home game for us, right? But the Chargers are, I'm not really sure how to really believe about the Chargers, right? I don't really have a lot of faith in Justin Herbert. The dude gets great stats, but he's the Dak Prescott of the AFC West, right? He doesn't perform at the times that he needs to. So while the Chargers were 11-6 last year, I think part of their whole appearance in the playoffs was the fact that they swept us, right? They swept us. The Donkeys swept us. The Chiefs swept us. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were crap. AP was not coaching to what we thought he was going to. Gardner Minshew was garbage. There were a lot of things. We were riddled with injuries. And so the Chargers with Harbaugh kind of concerns me, right? He doesn't scare me, and I don't think that they're just going to sweep us again, right? But I think that we're going to go back to kind of the pattern that we had before last year, where we kind of split things with the Chargers, and so it could be hit and it could be miss, right? It could be that we take them in week 2 and we move on to week 3, 2-0, or they take us on the first one, and then later in the season, we're going to come back and get them. But I think that we probably end up in a situation where we split it with the Chargers again. We can't underestimate them, man. We do play in a rough position, a division. But the thing is that the Chargers and the damn Donkeys, I don't think that either of those teams go to the playoffs last year if we actually had something decent going on besides Gardner Minshew and Luke Getsy calling the offense, right? So week 3 is the one that really kind of, I think, that's a challenge, right? We go in against Jaden Daniels. This Washington team continues to get better. And I think that Washington is going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. I really do think that they're going to continue to be a competitor in this league. And new regime, new quarterback. Like there's like a lot of things that might not be clicking so great. And so really, I don't know, man. I don't know how that game goes for us, man. And I'm not going to try to pretend like we just go in there and we're just going to stomp everybody, because that's not going to be the reality, right? And see, we got 7 games before our first bye. And I saw somebody saying there's no reason why we can't be uh 5-2 going into that. And honestly, I don't really think that that's the way it's going to go, you guys. I don't. And that's okay. It doesn't have to look like that. So the Bears, I got no faith in Caleb Williams, but they got Ben Johnson now. We're going up against Ben Johnson leading the Bears, which actually puts them in a position where they might actually win. But as we saw, Josh McDaniels called an offense for the New England Patriots with Tom Brady, and they won, and it went great. And then he went to head coach, and it was garbage, right? So who's to say that Ben Johnson is just going to translate that easily to being a head coach and it's going to click? Now, I like Ben Johnson, and I wanted us to hire him, and I really thought we were going to. So, I mean, that's not that we got no gimme game here, right? I do think that we can go in there and beat the Bears, but I don't know, man. I don't know what this team looks like yet. And not knowing what this team looks like yet really puts us in a really rough position. And I'm not even keeping up with my chat, man. What's going on over here? Let's see. Greg saying Herbert, another Derek Carr. Yeah, you get tons of passing yards and stuff, but then when it comes down to it, not winning when it matters. Raider Ryan, I'm glad we won't have that DA situation like last year with AP saying if you can play, then you will play. DA talking about I'm not playing. There are no players on the team who will pull that bullshit. And I don't really think that we got those kind of players right now, right? You know, and I love your optimism, Billy, man, but I don't think we're walking into this season starting off 4-0. I just don't, man. Let me pull up the schedule again. So then, you know, as we move down, the Colts, I'm not really intimidated by the Colts or the Titans right now. If we are not just flat out winning these games, something is wrong, right? And I think that this will be the huge indicator on what's going on with our season, right? Because if we go in and okay, let's say we beat the Patriots and then we lose to the Chargers and we lose to the Commanders, it's like, hold up, something's not right. But these are good teams, okay? And then we go against the Bears, win, lose there. That's where we're starting to see a turning point in the season, right? If we're not at least 2-2 by the time we finish the Bears and going into Indianapolis, then we're gonna have problems, right? So if we go in there at least 2-2, right, or 3-1, which would be great, but I don't know. If we can't just beat the Colts and the Titans, I'm worried, right? Because yes, the Titans are going to have Cam Ward. He's a rookie, man, and also he's good, but he's not that good, right? He's not that good. So I'm not really too worried about those two teams. But every year, man, there's always those teams that's like, you know what, that one's a gimme, that one's a gimme, and then we end up losing to Tyler Bagent and when he was, you know, filling in as backup for the Bears and things like that. And I don't like that, man. I do not like that. Greg saying I could see us going at least 3-2 in 5 games. I agree. And yes, I also agree that Commanders and Chargers will be the two concerns right there. I really do believe that those are the two hardest games early on in our schedule. So I'm hoping that we walk into Kansas City in a position where, I mean, I don't know, man. 1, 2, 3, 4-2, right? If we can walk into Kansas City 4-2, even if we lose against Kansas City, man, and we're 4-3 at the bye, then we are doing quite well right there, man. I would be super happy with 4-3 at that point in the season. Now, Jacksonville is a team that I have no faith in at all. I just don't, man. And so at that point, I say we take a dub there. And then Denver, I don't know how Bo Nix is going to bounce back from that back injury, man, because that back injury, he played for several weeks with a fractured spine. And I've had a back injury, right? I had a severe back injury I actually got it when I was 15, right? And at that point, I was a 4-sport athlete. I had a hell of an arm, man. Baseball, basketball, football, track, like there was a lot of things that happened when I hurt my back to where my mobility suffered, my ability to throw. Every time I would throw, man, it would hurt. And yes, I get it. These guys have millions of dollars and they have the best surgeons and medical staff possible. I get it, man. So it's going to be different for him, but I don't know if he's going to bounce back from that back injury so easily. I don't really believe in Sean Payton either, though they did pick up Omarion Hampton, so their running game is going to be looking quite good compared. So, I'm going to see how this goes, man. So, Broncos, if we don't sweep them, we at least go 1-1 with them, right? Dallas is one of those games where I don't really believe in the Cowboys. I don't, man. I do not believe in the Cowboys. Raider Trout Joe, what's good? What's good? I don't believe in the Cowboys, man. But I could also see that being one of those games that we just don't figure out a way to pull it off because that's just how it goes, right? So between Dallas and Cleveland there, I see us getting a minimum of one win. I'm not worried about Cleveland right now at all. That should be a gimme. Jeez, man. But then this is where we get to the hard part of our schedule because then we got Chargers, Broncos, Eagles, Texans, back to back to back to back. And that's really a rough part of the season, man. I don't see us walking away from that unscathed, I don't. I don't think that we're at a point where we're just going to take on Philadelphia and just beat them easily at all, right? But to be quite honest, if I had to mark it down right now, I would mark that down as an L, Rough week one. Yeah, not really worried about week one, Colton. Damn Patriots, man. I'd like to see that Josh McDaniels revenge game, Giants, not worried about the Giants down here. And then Kansas City, what I would like to see is for us to split it with Kansas City. And it could be that we do what the Broncos did last year, where Kansas City isn't even playing their starters at that point, and we go in there and get a dub because they're not worried about getting a win right there. I don't know, man. So, as far as predictions, man, last year I was just 10-7. We got 10-7. And that turned out really great for us, right? Ended up going 4-13. So I'm not that optimistic this year. Now, I do believe that we have a floor and we have a ceiling. And I'd like to say that our floor is 7 wins and that our ceiling is more like 10. And I don't know if people are going to agree with me on that or not. And that's okay. You don't have to, right? And I'm open to conversation and changing my mind. But the way that I see it, man, is we're going to find out in those first couple of weeks. Probably by week 4 or week 5, we're going to really get to see what this team looks like. Because do I think that we have really, really good potential right now? Yeah, I do, right? Broncos definitely not winning 15. Bro, and green chili vibes. What are you in New Mexico, bro? That's all we have in New Mexico, man, is Broncos fans and Cowboys fans because that's just what they show on TV. And then, Raider fan too. But yeah, I do believe that this offense can have a pretty good ceiling, right? They can have a good ceiling. But a lot of that's just going to really depend on, what this team actually looks like under this Chip Kelly offense. Now, the last live that I did, I was saying don't sleep on Chip Kelly, man, because this dude just went in there and won the national championship in college with a 6th-round quarterback in Will Howard. Geno Smith is definitely better than Will Howard, though playing against better competition in the NFL, right? But you take Chip Kelly and give him a Geno Smith and you give him Ashton Genty. I mean, come on, man. Let me see. Raider Ryan saying, going into the bye week, I think there's a possibility of 5-2. That's my fandism talking. That is, and I would love to be that optimistic, man, but we're at a point right now where, for one, we don't even know what the 53-man roster really is, and then also we don't know how it's going to look, man. Like, I believe Geno Smith is a damn good quarterback. He really is. And Chip Kelly is a damn good offensive coordinator. So you pair those two with the running game of Ashton Genty. You got Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Jack Besh, with Thornton and Tucker being able to take the top off the defense. It really puts us in a position where if we play things right, yeah, we can go in there and be a damn good team. But, man, I don't know. Gabrizona, any interest in free agents available right now? If you could trade for a player, then who would it be? That's going to really take us into the next segment of this video, which is Jalen Ramsey, right? And I get it, man. We've already talked about Jalen Ramsey and other teams are interested, right? But this article says Jalen Ramsey trade rumors heating up per NFL Insider. The Jalen Ramsey trade rumors are heating up as his future with the Miami Dolphins remains one of the biggest storylines of the 2025 offseason. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports there's more interest in Jalen Ramsey than people realize, and a trade is likely to be executed post June 1st due to salary cap logistics. And we talked about it several weeks ago before the draft, where this was likely going to be something that happened after the draft, and it was going to be designated for post June 1st because of their cap hits. So Ramsey signed a 3-year, $72.3 million contract extension with Miami in September of 2024. The holdup isn't draft compensation. Miami is reportedly content with receiving as little as a 5th-round pick. The issue is the cap hit. A post-June 1st trade would save the Dolphins $10 million compared to the pre-June 1st deal, but it would still leave them with a chunk of dead money. And we still have the cap space in order to do this. So the teams that could be involved in the Jalen Ramsey trade, they're saying the Rams, the Raiders, the Falcons, and the Bengals. So with the Raiders, it says the Raiders are thin at outside corner, especially after cutting Jack Jones. Their defense struggled to contain elite AFC West offenses, and Ramsey would provide experience and physicality on the boundary. And that is something that we definitely need. Ramsey is still a high-level performer. Ramsey started every game in 2024, and despite non-flashy numbers, he still had 2 interceptions with 11 passes defended. He remains one of the most physical and instinctive corners in football. The 7-time Pro Bowler has the ability to match up with elite receivers, still makes him one of the league's most valuable defensive backs. And because he is such a valuable defensive back, I mean, let's face it, man. We got Jacorian Bennett, who he's great, right? He's going into year 3. He's good. He could use to learn from a veteran defensive back, right? But who do we have on our roster? Darian Porter. We got dang, what's his name? I want to say I'm fumbling the name right now. We picked him up from Green Bay in free agency before the draft. Brain fart in the name, man. Yeah, it's not going to come to me, man. I might have to just look it up. As soon as I see his name, too, it's going to pop up. And we got Jeremy Chin. That's safety, but, you know. Watch somebody be helping me in the chat right now, and I'm not looking at the chat. Damn, man, I really can't remember his name for shit. And we got DeCameron Richardson going into a second year, right? And I do have some hope for him still. Stokes. I wanted to say Starks, man, but Eric Stokes, which, you know, all of these guys that we have in our defensive back room, they do have potential. They do have skill set, but we really don't have like a clear number one guy. Like Jacorian Bennett would be our number one guy, right? But if you bring in a Jalen Ramsey and then you have Jacorian Bennett also being able to learn from him, plus you got Darian Porter, our rookie, really being able to learn under him, and all these guys, like it's a very, very smart move for us to bring him in. And I could see us going ahead and making a trade and setting it up to where we have him for at least the next 2-3 years locked in. I'd be fine with guaranteed money. I'd be fine with how that looks because Jalen Ramsey, he has a presence, right? He commands respect on the field, and he's a dude that you can't just scoff, oh, he's older, so whatever. Like, what is he, 29? I'm pretty sure he's 29, bro. I'm going to pull it up just so. Okay, he's 30. He'll be 31 in October. Cool. I'm not too upset about that, man. I'm really not. Jalen Ramsey is still a very, very elite player. I think he's worth the price, man. Let me go ahead and share screen on this, man. See, Greg was over here helping me out, bro. Now I was over here brain farting it up. Right, Raider Ryan. I just want to see what this thing can look like with everyone staying healthy. Your best ability is your availability, right? And if we have Malcolm Kuntz and Christian Wilkins being able to be on the field and be healthy, our defensive line is going to look very, very good, right? I'm really worried about our linebackers, but Pete Carroll doesn't seem to be that worried, I guess. But defensive backs, if we can add the likes of a Jalen Ramsey to that defensive back room, I start feeling a lot more comfortable about this defense as a whole. Without him, I'm really hoping that Porter just comes out and has a breakout year, but the dude hasn't been a corner for very long. He was a wide receiver. So he doesn't have tons of experience and he's still learning the position. So he could really use to learn behind somebody with that veteran mindset, man. Okay, let me share on this, man. Jalen Ramsey, man. So Jalen, what the hell? Jalen Ramsey, man. He's 6'1", 108 pounds. Yeah, he was born in 94, 30 years old. So he's had several seasons in the NFL, right? But not even 10 years yet. But these last 2 years in Miami, he only played 10 games in 2023, and then he played 17 in 2024. He did have a sack, decent in the tackle area. The numbers look all right. Interceptions, 2. But if you look down, he's got 2, 4, 3, 0, 1, 1, 4, 4, 3, 2. Like, that's not that off, man. It's really not that off. And passes defensed, he's still on par with some of his best seasons. Now, I mean, over here, he had 16 and 18 in his last 2 years with the Rams. He only had 11 this last year, but that's really not bad at all, especially for an aging defensive back. I'm not really worried about that, man. Jalen Ramsey wanted to be a Raider, right? When he left, I think it was when he left Jacksonville. Watch, there's this video I have pulled up. I'm not going to be able to hear the sound on it because my mic is stupid and it kills the sound for me. But I'm going to play this video.
The team that I pushed for the most, I was like, please get me here. Please get me here was, at the time, the Oakland Raiders, that now are Las Vegas Raiders. I dang near begged to go to the Raiders. I begged to go to the Raiders. And they sent in the offer. And the Rams it wasn't the exact offer that Jacksonville wanted.
See, he's over here talking about like he damn near begged to go to the Raiders, and that the Raiders even made an offer, but it didn't end up working out, and he didn't end up coming here, and that really sucks. The dude's wanting to be a Raider right now. It's very, very clear that the Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey are going to part ways. I really feel like it's in a position where if they're not looking for the highest bidder, which they've made very, very clear, if they're not looking for that highest bidder draft compensation, then why would they not just kind of put him in a position where he can kind of go where he wants to go? Because we'll give them what they want. I would give up more than a fifth for Jalen Ramsey. I'd give up as high as a third rounder. I'd prefer it to be a fourth or a fifth, but I would give up a third rounder for Jalen Ramsey for sure. Raider Ryan, salute, man. Member for 4 months. I appreciate you, man. Add a veteran presence in the secondary and wide receiver room to help these young kids develop. Jacoby, the veteran in wide receiver room. He's 28, 29, Ramsey and Cooper. Cooper, are you talking about Amari Cooper? Because the way that Amari Cooper left from the Raiders, man, I really did not like how that ended up looking, man. I liked Amari Cooper, man, but then things got a little sideways there, and honestly, I don't know if that's the route for us to go, especially with the fact that we just picked up on Jack Besh. I think that instead of going like that clear X wide receiver, Jacoby Myers, Jack Besh, and then you got to watch out for Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, like the way that this offense could get set up, Thornton, with the speed. It's like, I don't know that we need to add to this wide receiver room. I could see us being in a position where we just kind of roll forward with the wide receivers that we got in the building right now. Andy saying Raiders 12-5. Man, that's if things come in and we're clicking and it's just hitting like better than we expect, right? But honestly, I don't think we're gonna win 12 games. What's up, Navman in the building? Salute. Good to see you, man. Let me see. What? Yo, what are you talking about, Nav, man? If that douche piano rolls in here, I'm gonna just cancel that shit? What's going on with that? I must have missed something, man. Was that on that like 6 hours live that you guys did? Y'all are rowdy, man. Y'all are super, super rowdy with that. So I mean, that's really all I got for today, man. We've been doing a lot over here at my house, man, since I have some time off. I'm in between jobs right now. I don't go back to work until June 2nd. And so I'm trying to get a lot of projects done, man. I got a porch to rebuild. We're setting up, we're going to do a yard sale, kind of clear out some of the clutter of our lives. You know, it's busy, man. It's amazing to me how much I have to do when I'm not working, right? It's like all those things I always said, like, oh, I don't have time for that, and I don't have time for that. It's like, well, right now I have time, man. And so I'm keeping my schedule full, And so right now, Andy with the follow salute. I told my kid that I was only going to jump on for 30 minutes, man. We've been going through all kinds of stuff, sorting through stuff to sell. He's clearing out a bunch of his toys and stuff like that. And he's been wanting to, play a game, man. And I kept telling him, oh, well, in a little bit. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to go live for 30 minutes, and we're already at 40, man. So I better get to that, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing every time we make another move. I'm happy with it. Let's fucking go, man. All right. Like always, I love you, nation. I'll catch you guys on the next one.